This ex Libris series of books are from my own personal library. I wanted to share Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael Mcdowell because I really enjoy his books and I think you might too. So, this post is more in the nature of bibliophilia or book recommendation than a super critical review. Cold Moon Over Babylon was published in 1980, and there is a reprint by Valancourt Press that came out in 2015. They're a smaller press, and they often reprint horror paperback classics and things like that have gone out of print, and God bless them for that. This is a Southern Gothic story about what happens when Margaret Larkin, a 14-year-old girl, goes missing one day on the way home from school. Her home is a crumbling farmhouse just outside the sleepy small town of Babylon by a slow-moving and fetid, snake-infested river Styx, where she lives with her aging grandmother and brother, the last remaining family members, and where they live off the harvest of blueberry plants that are huge, ancient, and starting to fail. Without telling too much of the story, as the cold moon rises over Babylon, secrets and revenge from beyond the grave rise with it. The book takes us through the intertwined lives of the townspeople as we learn Margaret's secret and the secrets of the Hale and Redfield families too. I love this book so much. I absolutely love Gothic and Southern Gothic fiction. I love crumbling houses by swamps and small towns where people have known each other their whole lives and no one locks their doors, even though by this point they really should. The families that have been there for generations, and even the quiet desperation of people struggling to stay afloat in hard times, it feels very real to me. I also love ghost stories, dark magic, and old spooky local stories, and there's often something kind of darkly romantic in these kinds of tales as well. In this case, Michael Mcdowell also unashamedly wrote what he called commercial fiction, which means that this story also has a bit of flair for the dramatic and isn't really trying to be anything it's not. It's very entertaining. The horror elements are scary, but they're also bold and a bit cheesy and gory sometimes. So for me, this is that perfect match of being of its time, a paperback horror story, but also hitting that Southern Gothic horror sweet tooth of mine. So I read this book in one sitting. I'm not sure where I first came across Michael Mcdowell. It was either in Grady Hendrix's book, Paperbacks from Hell, which is such a great book. Highly recommend, or from Dance Macabre by Stephen King. And in that book, he included a list of authors and books that he recommends. And I think all of his recommendations have been really spot on for me. So yeah, Michael Mcdowell wasn't really interested in writing classic fiction for the ages, but he wanted to write things that would sell and be popular, right now in his time. So that's what he meant by commercial fiction, basically. He worked on screenplays, most notably for the film Beetlejuice. And he was working on a sequel to that film when he died. I've heard rumors that there's going to be a Beetlejuice sequel. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but it'd be interesting if they use any of his writing or plot ideas for that film. He also worked on Nightmare Before Christmas and Thinner, which is the Stephen King adaptation, to give you a sense of his style. Something that I really love about him is that his PhD in English from Brandeis was based on a dissertation entitled American Attitudes Towards Death, 1825 to 1865. And he also collected death memorabilia and had boxes and boxes of it when he died. Michael Mcdowell was with his partner for 30 years until his death at age 49 from an AIDS-related illness, which is really tragic. So to me, there's such a dark delight in his books, and he has such a steady hand at creating realistic and relatable characters and evenly paced plots, family dynasties, houses that are never truly empty, rivers that are stagnant but alive. I'm never quite sure where he's taking us when I read his books, but there's often something inexorable, fatalistic, and damning in his stories. Good things can happen to bad people, and bad things can happen to good people in his books. there's not really necessarily a happy ending for anyone. So yeah, it can be quite dark and fatalistic. I was super excited to get my hands on a copy of this book, and it was quite by accident, really. I was looking for a copy of this book for ages, and then one night I was looking on eBay, and it was just really expensive. And we went by the thrift store on the way home from somewhere the next day, and this book was just there, and it was on clearance for like $2. So, is it fate? Was it dark magic? I don't know, but I'm very happy that I got a copy of it. There are some reprints of Michael McDowell's books, but they're hard to find, and the old school sort of mass market paperbacks like my copy on eBay, they're really not cheap, so it can be really hard to find his stuff to read. My local library doesn't have any of his books. I do have the Amulet, which I have that as the paperback. I think I got that for like not cheap, but not crazy expensive from somewhere. But I really enjoyed the Amulet. I have read the Elementals, which is also really good. It's got these strange houses like slowly filling with sand. I did read that one as an ebook, which generally I won't do. I find it really difficult to read that way. So hopefully I will come across some of his other books soon because I love them so much. Fingers crossed. Have you read any of his books? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Which one should I try and find next? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. You can check out some of my other videos. I also have another channel and socials, so you can find links below if you want more of that. And if you want to hang out again, remember to like and subscribe. And you can always leave a comment, let me know what you thought, or let me know what else you might want to see. Thank you.